All right. If you're still watching, hopefully we did not lose sound. We're back. We're back. Okay. Technology. Sometimes it doesn't cooperate, but we can always get it going again. All right. With the spirit of oneness, I am now present and accounted for. I would like to read a list of names of people that have asked to have special support from us as a group. As a reminder, we have new prayer ministry sheets, and we have a team of prayer practitioners that will pray for your specific request for 1 month after you submit it. And those sheets are right back there on the prayer box. So if you have something specific, that part is confidential. There's a checkbox on those sheets if you want to be on the prayer list that I read on Sunday, but you don't have to be. That's an optional thing. So with that in mind, let's tune in to our divine consciousness, our love and our light, and surround these people with that. Akira, Elena, Ali, Annabelle, Ben, Brittany, Buddhist, Carla, Seal, Chad, Daniel, Dennis, Dave, Dawn, Greg, Jack, James, Jan, Jean, Jennifer, Jenny and family, Jesse, Jody and family, JP, Julie, Karen, Carrie, Kim and family, Kirsten, Christina, Laura, Larry, Linda, Lynn and family, Marty, Melanie, Mick and family, Muhammad, Matthew, Paul, Pam, Patrick, Peter, Rahima, Ram, Yasmin, Ray, Phyllis and Sharon, Randall, Rienzo, Celine, Sheena, Scott, Skylar, Susan, Terry, and people with struggles we know nothing about. The daily reading for today is taken from 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 17, which says, "So if anyone is in Christ, there is a new creation. Everything old has passed away. Look, new things come into being." Just as Jesus transcended death, turning pain into light and sorrow into joy, I too have the power to rise above any challenge. When I feel defeated, I rise. When I stumble, I rise. When sorrow weighs heavily, I rise. Each rising is proof that resurrection is a divine energy pulsing through every heartbeat and breath. This Easter, I behold with awe every sign of life's renewing presence: a kind word, a morning breeze, a generous impulse, a wave of gratitude. All are glimpses of Easter's restoring power, lifting me higher. Easter is not just Jesus' story. It's mine too. It's yours too. His resurrection is a reminder that the power to rise above struggle and limitation is alive in me. I am a new creation. I rise. The affirmation that goes along with this, I'll say it once, and then if we can all say it together and really feel it. On this glorious Easter morning, I rise. On this glorious Easter morning, I rise. All right. And with that, let's sing another song all together. And Clayton, if you can mute me, then I don't have to try. Thank you. Deeper, deeper into the heart of love. Deeper, deeper into the heart of love. Letting go into the mystery. Letting go into the mystery. Letting go into the mystery. Rising in love. Deeper, deeper into the heart of love. Deeper, deeper into the heart of love. Letting go into the mystery. Letting go into the mystery. Letting go into the mystery. Rising in love. Deeper, deeper into the heart of love. Deeper, deeper into the heart of love. Letting go into the mystery. Letting go into the mystery. Letting go into the mystery. Rising in love. We are still getting used to sharing the wireless mic. So, as Stephen puts it on, I would like to welcome him to our group. He says that he loves the energy here and we love having him. And he is going to speak to us on the topic of welcoming both our failure, death, and our resurrection. Please give a big round of applause to our speaker, Stephen Winn.
Well, hi. This is working? Yes.
Yeah.
I have to say, I love coming here to Unity of Des Moines. It is always such a big burst of energy and a feeling of so much love. And it's Easter. You know, you wake up on Easter morning, you realize this is the pinnacle of Christianity. This is where Jesus, who in Unity Church we call the way shower, where Jesus shows us the way. And what I would like to help everyone to do is to recognize that now, 2,000 years later, you and I have become the way showers. And there's a bit of a claiming of that. So we're going to start with, I want you to pick someone next to you or, two or three together, whatever it is. And I want you to say, the Christ in me blesses the Christ in you.
What? Christ in me is blessed.
The Christ in me blesses the Christ in you. And then switch.
Christ in me blesses the Christ in you.
Yeah. So how does it feel to claim that the Christ is within you? It's a powerful claim, isn't it? And do you notice any, like, who am I to claim that Christ is within me? Some of you will, some of you won't. All of us have until we have totally embodied that we are the Christ, has this sort of, our mind is speaking and saying, well, wait a second. I still get up every morning and put on my clothes and take a shower and this and that. And I'm just me, and somehow Jesus walked on water and I'm not that yet. Can you allow that to be okay with you? It's an honest recognition of who we are and where we are. And it also does not negate that each one of us is the presence of Christ within us. So most of what I'll be talking about here is what I call the 16-inch journey from our head into our heart. Okay? Because our head goes, wait, I'm just this limited human being. But when we go deep into our hearts, we step into the kingdom of heaven within us, and we realize how powerful and profound each and every one of us are. So that's my desire here. But I'd like to impart and help everyone to step more into this. It's not just something that Easter's not just something that happened 2,000 years ago. It's awakening to this divine potential within us right now. So the thing is, what within us needs to be released before we can step into and claim this divine presence as being who we are? Let's just take a moment and think about that. You have Jesus who walks into Jerusalem, translates as walks into the city of peace. We can say, metaphorically, we are walking into the kingdom of heaven within us. And first thing that he finds are the money changers in the temple. And I'm going to suggest that's a metaphor for all the wounds, all the traumas within our own heart. And it's time to acknowledge they're there, love them, and let them go. It says in the Bible, we all know this one, the kingdom of God is within us. Unity has always taught that heaven is not a place we go, up into some city and the heavens when we die, their streets are paved with gold and the angels are blowing trumpets and praising the Lord. It's a wonderful picture, but really it's a state of consciousness. It's a experience, a living reality of living in our hearts. Think about that quiet, still voice we call the conscience. That's not from your head, is it? That's from the depths of our hearts. How hard is it really to start acknowledging that we all have this voice deep within us, and it's just a matter of listening to it, even if we are not perfect. It's just a matter of starting this process. So, what happens is, what keeps us from hearing this, and why Jesus didn't have this problem, it describes it very clearly in the Bible. Jesus fasts for 40 days and 40 nights. And it says, after that, because he overcame the 3 temptations, he could begin his ministry. And these 3 temptations, these are the money changers within our heart. These are the traumas. These are the patterns of our ego that we all collectively live from. And I'll describe them, briefly as in sort of modern language, but they really tie in perfectly to the biblical story of it. So the first one is we want love, we want recognition, we want approval, we want validation, not from the divine, but we want it from the world. And the problem is, the world doesn't care really. It's, I love you when you give me what I want. Okay? And if we shift into this place where we go deep into our hearts, what we realize is at our depth, this city of peace within us is infinitely loving, infinitely supporting, infinitely building, creating. And if we live from wanting love and approval, we're on this hamster wheel of, everybody saying, "What have you done for me lately?" Like that. And there's nothing wrong with getting love and approval from the world. It's just that we want to be in a spot where we're experiencing this city of peace within us so clearly and so richly that any love and approval from outside, from our relationships, is just icing on the cake. Okay, as opposed to trying to buy it from someone with our behavior. So that's the first one. And then in the Bible they talk about it as Satan takes Jesus after the 40 days of fasting, puts him on this top of the hill and says, "Look at this. I will give you this entire kingdom. Everyone will love you. Everyone will obey you." This is like total love. Okay. And Jesus, of course, just dismisses it, says, not interested. The second temptation that Jesus overcomes, and we're going here just so we realize that in our own lives, we let go of these basic patterns of our ego and we can live from the kingdom of heaven instead. But there's another one. The second one is wanting control or wanting power. And again, you're on the top of the hill and you're the kingdom of everything. It's complete power, of course. But more specifically, he takes him back to his cave where he's been fasting for 40 days and 40 nights. And he says, "Turn these stones into bread." And the famous statement from Jesus is, "Man does not live by bread alone." I'll tell you a secret. Woman does not live by bread alone either. Okay? So this is where it is. And again, nothing wrong with being fed. It's just that if we're making decisions from that fear, then we're out of alignment with the one. And it means we're not trusting the one. And Jesus was trusting the one. He says, "Live by bread alone." The third one is, and this is really the critical part here for Easter, is wanting safety and security. Now, this is your root center chakra. And, he says, throw yourself over. He tells Jesus, throw yourself over this cliff and see if these angels will save you. In effect, when we live from this fear of death, we want guarantees in our life. We're not trusting, we're not surrendering, we're not allowing. And what it means is, you'll have heard of out of the box thinking, something new, something creative. When we are just living from our minds, then we are limited to the experiences of our minds, the experiences of humanity, rather than tying into the infinite possibility of the divine within us. And for 90% of our lives, I turn left here, I call this phone number here, I have this appointment with this, and this. The mind is a wonderful tool. It's a great friend. We're not trying to bash the mind here. But for the decisions that really count, is in where am I going in life? Do I marry this person? Do I do this career? Do we have kids? This and this and this? The mind doesn't really have any answers. And how many times are you going to keep asking the mind for an answer when it doesn't have an answer? The answer is deep within us. We go into the city of peace within us and we act from there. Jesus walks into the city of peace knowing that he's going to die. It tells us this in the Bible. He says, "Lord, please take this cup from me. But if not my will, but thy will be done." He can see it happen. You know what? Think about the harshness of the times. You know, forced to carry this heavy wooden cross, planted in there, go up the hill, be whipped and tormented, this and this, ultimate pain, ultimate humiliation. And he says, yes, I'll do it. And the effect of it is that for 2,000 years, just this one little act of not listening to the three temptations within us, not listening to these three driving forces of our ego, patterns of our ego, Jesus creates this huge impact, far for the better. You know, the world now compared to 2,000 years ago, we may look at the news and say, oh, how terrible, how terrible, how terrible. But in truth, kinder, gentler, more people fed, less people murdered. You know, the world is so much infinitely better, and largely due to the influence of Christianity, of Jesus, his teachings. So this resurrection that we're speaking of in Easter, Charles Fillmore calls it, it's a raising of the consciousness from material belief into spiritual understanding. And, you know, I learned a long time ago that, when I first started preaching, this is back in 1992, I started giving all these incredible theological masterpieces. And everybody go, oh, how great. And then walk out, they'd all forget it all. And they go, this isn't working. So I thought, yeah, Jesus taught parables. So we're gonna go through a couple of stories, some made up and some more historical. But one of the made up ones is a story about a seed. It says the seed says, I want to become a great tree. I want to grow up, 80 feet tall and provide shade to the world and do all these great things. But I don't want to disappear. I still want to be a seed at the same time. Right, doesn't work, does it? And that's exactly what happens. We have to let go of our old limited self to become the gift to the humanity. And it doesn't mean that we all have to die physically and become Jesus physically like that. But just imagine living in your own world, your own friends, your own family, and suddenly you start living from this quiet place within. How would that impact your family? How would that impact your place of work? Quite often what will happen, I'll just tell you what will happen, is quite often what will happen is a lot of people will disappear from your lives because they don't want that. They're there for the games of their ego, the patterns of their ego, and you're just saying, no, we're not going there. We're living from the heart now. But they learn from it. They learn from it, and the invitation is we can shift, and the world will shift with us because the people will come in that can respect and respond, and our lives become renewed based on living from that space within our hearts. So we ask in this Easter celebration, what in me is ready to open up? What identity am I still holding on to that I need to let go of before I can step into living from the heart? There's another example, a real life one. Again, this is Socrates. So, our whole Western civilization really comes from, as a foundation, Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, and obviously Christianity played a part when it came along. But before that, there they were. And Socrates was stirring up the youth of Athens. And the elders of the city found this very threatening, and they basically threw him in jail. They threw him in jail and sentenced him to death. But no one really wanted him to die. So they go to him privately and they open up the cell door and say, you can leave. Just leave the city. It won't be a problem. You can live. And Socrates says, no, I'm not hiding. I'm not running. They gave him the hemlock, the poisonous tea. Don't try this at home, by the way. And he drinks it and he dies. And he has such, because he is not living from wanting to be safe and secure. If you're living from one of these ego patterns, you say, oh, I'm getting out of here. But because he makes that sacrifice, because he lives from the city of peace within, he changes the trajectory of the Western world. You know, Plato, Aristotle, and they just may create such an impact that you can just see it. So, in your own world, what kind of impact do you want to make? And what do you want to hold on to, and what can you let go of? It's just a question. You start looking at it. Who would you be if you lived from the depth of your heart? There's another story about a man. We'll make this a woman. Woman shows up at the store of the river, at the shores of a river. She says, I really want to get to the other side, but I want some guarantees before I make this step. I want to know what my life is going to look like. I want to know this. How am I going to make a living? How am I going to find a partner? All this sort of thing. And you know what happens is, never get to the other side. The guarantees do not exist. We can have intuition. Yes, fine, wonderful, perfect. And someone else comes along and just says, oh, I think I'm just going to do it. Just trust. Can you take a moment and look at your life, and what would you do if you were totally trusting in the divine right now? What would you do? Rather than looking at wanting to be safe, wanting to have control, wanting to be loved, what would you do? And you know what happens is sometimes we make mistakes. We give it a try, it doesn't work. The process here is you just take the first step and see where it goes. And surrender more if you need to, or you can go, nope, this is the wrong direction. I'm going to take a step in this direction. But would it be okay with you to identify as a person who takes that first step and watches what happens? That's not so hard, is it? We don't need the guarantees. So, let's just stop talking. Let's just go into a meditation. Because, I think I've mentioned this before, but one of my favorite sayings is from China, the Taoists, who say, talk doesn't cook the rice. So just sit up straight, put your feet on the floor, close your eyes, take a deep breath within, and then let it go. Take a breath within, and let it go. And even more. And put your attention in your heart. And the first question I would ask you is it safe for you to live from your heart? I just have to tell you that it sounds wonderful to say, yes, live from your heart. But if there's deep fear, then the job is to heal the fear and the trauma first. And most of us have it. So it's not like, if you've got some fear or trauma, it's not like there's something wrong with us. But could you just go inside and allow that fear or any trauma or any sense of unworthiness, like who am I to claim the resurrection of the Christ within me? Who am I to, even though Jesus said in the Bible, we're all sons and daughters of God. Now, who am I to make the audacious claim that I am that? And the job is not to fight the disbelief, not to resist it. Could you just honor it within yourself that this is your past? This is your upbringing. This is just our first step here. And could you just say, yes, I have this sense of I'm not worthy, or the sense that I'm damaged goods, the sense of fear to live without guarantees in life. Can you notice all of these things come from our mind? Our mind is telling us, who are you? This hasn't worked in the past, why should it work now? And could you, from your heart, just allow yourself to send to your mind some love, some kindness, some recognition that our minds are just trying to help us, trying to protect us the best that they know how? Could you just, from the depth of your heart, send the blessing of love and forgiveness to the surface of your mind? And check to see what happens when you do this. Most of us start to experience a quieting of our mind. Our minds are desperate for love and approval. We are, in effect, blessing our minds. Can you see that when you step into your heart, dive into your heart, that you become a divine being capable of blessing and praising from the depth of beingness? Blessing and praising from the kingdom of God within us. Would you allow it to be that simple? Now let's just do this. Could you, just for the moment, allow any imperfection within us, any traumas, just to exist, allow them to be there. They're a part of life. And let yourself go even to a deeper level of your heart. Could you allow yourself to move into this place of complete stillness, place of complete silence? This is the doorway into the kingdom of heaven. From this deep, deep place, I invite you to look at your life, look at your world, your families, your health, your bodies, your finances. Whatever is troubling you, Could you love them even more? A different part of your life. Could you love that part even more? Could you allow that part of your life to unfold naturally into complete divine order? Could you allow that part of your life the freedom to resurrect, freedom to be renewed by the transforming of our minds? From that deep place of stillness within inside ourselves, could we look at the world, the political world, the economic world, the wars, the, the countries in the world torn apart, the divisiveness in our own country? Just check to see. First, is there some triggering there, some response to fear or frustration or anger that shows up within us? And if that shows up, all that's happening is we have this energy, this resistance, this wanting to control, wanting to be safe. And our body and our minds are bringing it up so it can be healed. Does being angry or frustrated about the state of the world cause the world to change? It just doesn't, doesn't. So could you let go of any resistance to the world as it is and let yourself sink again, even deeper into this place of peace within? From this place here, just try on this statement of truth. I trust the wisdom within me. I trust the wisdom within me. Inhale and in the exhale, I trust the wisdom within me. And can you relax into that? Open up even more deeply. Notice the stillness. Notice the presence. Sometimes it's experienced as a quiet aliveness. This is your being. This is the Christ within. This is the kingdom of heaven. And just sit here and enjoy it for a minute or so. Noticing how natural it is to experience it, to whatever degree. And notice that this is not a state that we have to become. This is a state that it always exists, and we simply need to allow it to arise up in our lives. So could you just set that intention? I allow the state to become alive, a full-time living reality. and you see that this has been the resurrection of the Christ within you. Could you just allow this to become normal and natural in your life? And what typically happens is you get pulled out into daily living. Could you allow that to be okay? And then when you realize that you're living from your mind again, you just take a moment and sink inside. And maybe you just do this a couple times a day. Just this simple process, take a few, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Can you see how by simply doing this a few times every day, that after a month or two, it just becomes a habit? There's no willpower here. It's just allowing the body and the mind to recognize that far, far more useful to live from beingness than from our ego patterns. Far more useful. Could you be grateful for deep wisdom of your heart, so readily available? Would you be even more grateful for that? Would you be grateful for this process of resurrection that today we have given birth to? And we just say, thank you. And so it is. Just take a minute to come out. Open your eyes when you're ready. Thank you very much.
We would like to share your resources with the Unity Center of Des Moines. Now is your opportunity to do so. There are a lot of ways that each and every one of us can contribute to the well-being of everything that happens here. And I want to thank you in advance for your contribution. I noticed that Ramon came in when I wasn't watching. Thank you. And regardless of what your contributions are, whether they are of a financial, an energetic, or a presence level, we want to offer the following affirmation. Let's say it all together. It's up on screen. I am infinitely abundant. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I thankfully acknowledge the divine source.
So our speaker mentioned walking on the water, so I happened to just pick this song as appropriate here, so bear with me. When I walk upon the water, maybe I could use a cane. If I ever fly to heaven, maybe I could board a plane. Life can be very complicated. It's the simple things we share. When I dive into the deepest water, I soon come up for air. When I finally wash the temple, will the water ease the pain? If I cannot fly to heaven, maybe I could board a train. In this paradise that we belong, things are perfect as can be. The veil that separates from nature's song has been removed to set us free. When I walk upon the water, may the ice hold up my frame. If I ever fly to heaven, I will have no one to blame. See, everyone here has walked on the water.
Thank you so much, Dennis, and we are so glad you're back. Gonna get this prepped here before we say our affirmation. Have to put this in just a second. Thank you so much. I'd like to dedicate this offering to do the work of spirit and truth through the people of Unity Center of Des Moines, and we are grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone. And now I'd like to invite you to stand up, and as you are able to follow along as Deb leads us through the words and hand motions for the Universal Greeting of Peace from the Gandhi Foundation. I offer you peace.
I offer you peace.
I offer you love.
I offer you love.
I offer you friendship.
I offer you friendship.
I see your beauty.
I see your beauty.
I hear your needs.
I hear your needs.
I feel your feelings.
I feel your feelings.
My wisdom flows from the higher source.
My wisdom flows to the highest source.
And I salute that source in you.
And I salute that source in you.
Let us work together for unity and love.
Let us work together for unity and love.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, everyone. And that concludes our service for today. I'd like to invite everyone to make a great big circle around the room, all you beautiful faces, and we'll sing the closing song together. And as a reminder, there are delicious snacks in the community room. Take a look around and see what you noticed has changed in there. And there's going to be healing hands in the back. Our friend Devin over there is practicing Reiki and is still offering free Reiki sessions. Is that correct? Okay. So if you haven't met him, check him out. All right, let's sing our closing song together as Deb plays it on the piano. The light
of the light surrounds us.
the love
Enfolds us. The power of the divine protects us. The presence of the divine washes over us. Wherever we are, the divine is. And all is well.
Thank you, everyone.